Hello, everyone. Let's get ready for a slow, deep stretch for the whole body. Welcome back to Devi Daily Yoga, where it's not about how your yoga looks, it's all about how it feels. And we are all about yin yoga today. This practice is specifically designed to stretch into the body's deep fascia and connective tissues, bringing greater mobility and flexibility and relieving tension. You won't need any props today, so let's go ahead and just roll out our mats. Our yin yoga practice begins right now. Let's begin in a seated cross-legged position. You might want to use a cushion or a folded blanket under your seat for a little bit of extra lift. Let the hands rest on the knees. Allow your eyes to close. Moving into some breath work to begin. Take a deep breath in and let it go as you invite yourself to arrive on your mat, in your practice, in this moment. And invite another breath in to fill the lungs and release it. Let your sitting bones settle into the earth below you. And taking another breath in now, feel the crown of your head rise up so you actually grow taller. Exhale, keep this height as you drop down through the tailbone, as if your tailbone could extend down below the surface of the earth. Moving now into 3-part breathing. We'll breathe into the 3 chambers of the body, starting with an exhale. And now with an inhale, allow the belly to expand. That's the first chamber. Second chamber is the ribs. Third chamber is the chest. Inhale to fill all 3 chambers. Exhale, release. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale to fill the belly. Fill the ribs. Fill the chest. Exhale. Again, inhale, belly, ribs, chest, all parts exhale. 2 more times, inhale, belly, ribs, chest, exhale. One more, into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Exhale. And now at the bottom of this exhale, just invite yourself to return to an easy, natural breath. And notice how this feels to have activated your breath, stimulated the insides of the lungs and the ribs. Beginning our practice with this stretch and this awakening from the inside. And now gently allow your eyes to flutter open, and let's come on to the forearms and the elbows for Sphinx. Rest on your elbows and forearms. Put the palms facing down on the ground. And allow the legs to be back behind you at a distance from one another that feels good. Closer together if you want more intensity in your back bend, wider apart if you want it to be more gentle. And now make any final adjustments so you can feel the front of your pelvis and your low belly snuggling up against the ground. And now let's take a breath into this low belly. Exhale from the low belly. Inhale once again into the pelvis, into the sacrum this time. Exhale, can you soften the sacrum into the body toward the front of your pelvis? And continue to breathe in a slow, steady, easy rhythm as your body rests here. For the second half of our time in this pose, you're invited to widen the hands and lift up with straight arms to come into seal pose, or stay down in Sphinx. Wherever you are, let's find our breath down into the belly and let it go. And breathe into the low back, the sacrum. Exhale. Slowly now release down onto the elbows and the forearms, and all the way down onto the forehead. Press the hands on either side of the chest. Press up and back into child's pose. Send the hips back to the heels. Stretch the arms out in front of you, palms on the ground. Forehead finds the ground or a block. And now take a deep breath into the back body. Exhale and feel your tailbone lengthen back and down toward your toes. Another deep breath in to fill the back from shoulder to shoulder. Exhale. And one more big breath in, like you're trying to puff up the back of your ribs. Release, exhale. And a side stretching child's pose now. Walk the hands to the right side edge of your mat and place your left hand on top of your right hand and settle down and back, pulling gently through the left armpit area so that you get a nice curve in the left side of the torso. And let's breathe into this left side of the trunk. Exhale. And walk the hands over to the other side. Right hand on top of the left. And pulling back gently through the right armpit area and back through the right hip as you inhale into the right side. Exhale. And bring it back to the center now. And come up to hands and knees. And into dragon pose, step your right leg forward. You may wish to pad under your back knee with a folded blanket. And we're going to come up into a high dragon today where the hands climb up on the knee. And this is a little more of an active yin pose where there's some balancing involved just to kind of stay here. And your hands could stay on the knee. You could use blocks under the hands if you want more stability. Or option to take the hands behind the back. This will give us a little more back bend, straightening the arms if you wish. Or last option is to hold opposite elbows or opposite forearms behind your back. So find your version of dragon today with the idea that this lifted torso gives us a little more back bend, an asymmetrical back bend, and more back bend even more if we sink down through the left hip. Nice breath into the heart. And exhale, softening a little more down through the left thigh and down through the left hip. And you can consider sending your head back in space a little more to get more opening in the chest, the collarbones, and the throat. And slowly release. Place the hands on the floor on either side of the front foot and shift your hips back to come into half split. Draw the right toes back toward you and soften forward over the leg. Stretching now into the back of your right thigh, your hamstrings. Resting here, breathing here. Slowly release. Bend forward into the front knee. Take both hands on the inside of the front foot now and walk the right foot out toward the right side a bit. Option to stay here on straight arms or to come down onto elbows or rest your elbows on yoga blocks for gecko pose. And getting a nice stretch here in the front leg, maybe feeling it in the inner thigh. Maybe throughout the pelvic bowl. Option to come onto the outside edge of the right foot, winging the knee out to the side for dragon wing pose. Wherever you are, whichever options you're taking, find your stillness with a deep breath. And your exhale helps you to settle in, helps your body to soften. Good, let's slowly come up out of gecko now. Hands on either side of the front foot. And tuck the back toes, step back into plank pose. Feeling after all this stretchiness, let's come into some core strengthening by holding this plank for 3 breaths. Pulling the belly in toward the spine, draw the tailbone down toward the heels and feel the ribs knitting in toward one another. Let's inhale the breath now. And exhale, drop the knees. Lower all the way down onto the belly. And lift up into cobra pose. And with your exhale, lower right back down, touching the forehead to the earth. 2 more cobras. You decide how high you'd like to go. Inhale up. Exhale, slowly roll it back down, getting this somatic movement in the spine with this slow lift and this slow descent. Good, let's press the hips up and back to downward dog. Tuck the toes, lift up through the hips, walk the legs, bending one knee at a time, pressing one heel down and then the other. Now press both heels down equally, bend the knees a little as you lift way up through your sitting bones, press strong into the arms, inhale. And now your exhale, dropping the knees to the ground. Let's come into our dragon series on the second side, left leg forward. Starting with the upright dragon, balancing in your version of upright dragon. Hands can be here on the thigh, or behind the back with the arms straight, or holding opposite elbows. Open the shoulders back to stretch open the chest and sending the head back in space. Let's take a breath into this nice open heart. And as you exhale, can you soften and relax a little more through the front of your right hip, through this line of fascia between the right knee and the right lower ribs. Finding the breath, settling in a little more with each exhale. And slowly release, bringing the hands to either side of the front foot. Shift your hips back to come into half split. Lengthening the left leg, draw the left toes back. Find the stretch in the hamstrings. Maybe there's a little wiggle of the hips to find exactly the right angle. And when you're ready, settle in, settle down toward the leg. And breathe in. And breathe out. And slowly shift forward and taking it now into gecko, both hands on the inside of the foot. Inch the left foot out to the left side. Stay here on straight arms or rest your elbows down on the floor or on top of a yoga block or two. Option to wing out through the left knee, opening it out to the left side. And breathe here. Slowly now release, gecko, coming up, and hands to either side as you walk the left foot back to center. Tuck the back toes under and step back into plank once again, shoulders over the wrists. Belly hugs in toward the spine. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward. Exhale, drop your knees and lower slowly down onto your belly. Taking your 3 cobra poses with your breath. Rising up. Exhale with a fluid movement rolling down. Touch your forehead to the ground. Inhale, rise up once again. Exhale, slowly lower down. Last time, slowly roll up. Feel the spine articulating as you exhale down. Forehead touches the earth. And press the hips up and back, taking downward dog once again. Walk your legs out. Such a wonderful way to open up the feet in downward dog. Now let's bend both knees equally, lift up through the sitting bones, straighten the legs a little more, send the heels down toward the ground, inhale, and exhale, drop the knees, rest in child's pose. Breathe in child's pose. And let's come back up to hands and knees now and take it into a puppy stretch. Arms come forward a few inches so you can settle your heart down toward the ground. Lifting way up through your sitting bones and finding this stretch of the chest and the armpits. And to take a deep breath in now. As you exhale, can you sink a little bit more through the heart? Now let's take it into thread the needle by lifting a little to slide the left arm under the right, turning so the left side of the head comes to the ground, and we're stretching into the outside of the left shoulder. Now the right hand is up above the head. Walk the fingertips over toward the left top corner of the mat to get a little more opening here. Good. And breathe into this twist of the upper body, this lovely deltoid muscle stretch, and the fascia region all around the outside of the left arm, the left shoulder blade, upper back. Beautiful. Let's slowly release this and come back to the center. Take a moment in the puppy stretch once again. Feel that wonderful opening of the chest another time. And now we'll lift up a little, slide the right arm under the left arm, and bring the outside of the right shoulder to the ground. Let's take a breath in. Exhale. And feeling this area of fascia now around the outside of the right shoulder and into the middle upper back, and weaving even into the back of the ribs and the base of the neck on the right side. Maybe it feels good to walk that left hand that's above your head up over toward the top right corner of the mat. Slowly now unwinding, come back around to hands and knees and take some cat and cows. Let's round the spine, tucking chin, tucking tailbone, and inhale into cow. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, gaze forward. Exhale, round, tucking. Inhale, drop the ribs, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, drop the ribs one last time here. And now we exhale all the way back to child's pose. Settling hips back, forehead to the earth. Coming up now to just rearrange the legs a little wider for tadpole pose. And as you settle your hips back, see if you can find a stretch in the inner thighs, the inner groins. And if you do feel a stretch here, then stay here in tadpole. If you don't feel much and you want more sensation, then consider taking your knees even wider than your mat, and maybe also opening your feet wider than your mat. You can turn sideways so that your knees stay on the cushioning if your knees aren't comfortable on a hard floor, or just use a blanket under yourself. So tadpole or frog, feet can be closer together in frog or wider apart. And settle into your version to experience this deep groin stretch. And whichever variation you're in, can you inhale now into this underbelly, into the groin, the front of the pelvis. Exhale and soften into this area a little more. And slowly now come back up. Walk the legs closer together. And let's come to sit on the heels, taking a rebound, a time of stillness where we can feel the effects of the practice. Taking this pause, sensing the energy that's moving through your body. Sensing how your fascia body is responding to this practice after all of the parts of the body that have been stretched and stimulated and awakened. Now can you take a full breath into this body and exhale. And slowly let the eyelids open now and come forward onto hands and knees. We're going to set up for sleeping swan pose. Slide your right knee forward and take your left foot over toward your left hip and settle your hips back. Feel free to take deer or figure 4 as a variation here. For deer, you'll simply drop your hip over to the side and bend your back knee up, which is a friendlier pose for many people's knee. Or if it's okay on your knee today, we'll take sleeping swan. Whichever variation, we're working into this stretch of the glutes on the right side. You might rest on your elbows, you might rest your forehead on a block, or you might take your hands forward so you can rest your forehead on the ground. Wherever you have landed, can you feel the perfection of your pose? And take a breath into this perfection. The perfect pose, exhale. The perfect pose for you in this moment, based on what you're feeling, and what's resonating with your energy today. Inviting the energy to flow through your body. Slowly now rise up. As we rise up, we'll sit over onto the right hip and gently swing the back leg around to the front. Coming into half butterfly pose with the right foot to the inner upper thigh. And gently drape yourself forward over your leg or to the inside of your leg, whichever feels better, to stretch into the hamstrings on the left side. Hands might rest on the ankle, or the foot or the floor. And take a nice deep breath in. And exhale and invite yourself to soften a little bit more into this one-legged forward bend. Slowly now release, coming up, and cross the ankles so you can come forward and return to hands and knees. And we will now slide the left knee forward for Sleeping Swan. Second side. Your choice of taking Deer Pose as an alternative or Figure 4 on the back. Settling down onto elbows or forehead to the ground or forehead on a block or forehead resting on your hands. Finding the stretch in the left glutes now. And breathe into this stretch. This area of fascia that encompasses the outer thigh, the outer hip, the glutes, and maybe up into the sacrum as this whole web of fascia weaves through this entire region of the body. Deep breath in now. And exhale. And slowly release. As you come up, sit over onto your left hip. Bring your back leg around to the front and find your half butterfly forward bend over one leg, angling to the inside of the leg or directly over the leg as you choose. And find a deep breath in now. And an exhale to help you soften and relax into this shape. Slowly release. And take both legs in front of you and lower down onto your back. Once you arrive on your back, go ahead and bend the knees, hug them in toward your chest. And clasp the hands around the knees, gently rock your body side to side. Good, and let's slowly now make our way into a twist by touching the feet down to the ground. Move the hips a few inches to the left, and then take the knees in and drop them over to the right. Extend your left arm out to the left side. Place your right hand on the knees to anchor them down. And turn your head to the left, away from the knees. Your left palm can be up or down, whatever feels more harmonious in your shoulder and in your spine as it twists. Let's take a full breath in now to fill up the back body. And exhale. And breathe into the spine itself. Exhale. And rest here. And slowly now release, bring knees back up to the center. Touch the feet down to the ground to shift sides, hips to the right, knees in and over to the left, right arm out to the right side. Left hand on the knees. Find your twist, make your adjustments so that you feel comfortable in your twist. And settle into a slow and steady breath once you arrive. Slowly release, knees up to the center. And one last little stretch in Happy Baby before we find our Shavasana. So let's hold the bottoms of the feet, or if that's not accessible, you can have one hand on each knee and open the knees wide. And find any movement here, whether you're holding knees or feet. It might feel good to rock side to side or to move the legs around in the hip sockets. Giving yourself a little bit of playtime, perhaps, to congratulate yourself for making it through this practice of self-care, rejuvenation, self-love. Let's let go of the legs now and find our Shavasana. Extend arms and legs as wide as you'd like to so that you are taking up space and really feeling the body being hugged against the ground by the gentle force, the persistent force of gravity, hugging you down against the embrace of Mother Earth. Feel the earth rising up to support your entire back body. And feel the energy now that is flowing through this body after this practice. Inviting all the layers of sensation to come into your mind's eye. The feeling of the breath. The rise and fall of the belly and the chest. The tingling in the muscles and the fascia and the joints. The openness of the body in this moment. Breathe in now to the center of the chest. Open your mouth to exhale. Can you relax a little more deeply now through the hands? And can you relax a little more deeply through the feet? Relax a little more deeply through the arms and through the legs. Relax a little more deeply through the hips, the pelvis, the torso, the ribs, sinking down as these parts of the body become heavy. And finally, can you relax a little more through your shoulders, your head, your face, allowing everything to be heavy. Surrendering into this moment, surrendering into the support of the earth. And now take a deeper breath into the belly and into the heart. And as you exhale, gently wiggle through the fingers and the toes and stretch out into your arms and your legs. And slowly bend your knees and roll over onto one side. And press up into a seated position. And we'll close our practice here with the legs crossed, with the palms together in front of the heart. Take a full breath into this body. With gratitude, exhale. And we'll chant Om now 3 times. You can chant silently to yourself or out loud. Let's inhale. And that closes our practice today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for practicing with Devi Daily Yoga. If you liked it, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to study deeper with me, check out the links below for my Yin Yoga teacher training and my membership site called the Yin Studio. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you in the next video.